What's going on, guys? T-Wild's Tobacco Cards coming back at you with episode 2 of the Player Story series. In this episode, I've highlighted 2 Southern Leaguers out of my collection. As y'all know, the Southern Leaguers are my favorite subset within this whole T206 set. So I felt like giving them their own episode was the right thing to do. The 2 that I've highlighted for this video are Ed Reagan and Ernie Howard. And I've also paired them up with their T210 variations just for fun, something cool to look at. Ed Reagan here, pictured in the Savannah Indians in his T210 card, and then the New Orleans Pelicans in his T206 card. And then Ernie Howard here, pictured in the Savannah uniform in both the T210 and T206 cards as well. So, moving into a little bit more about each of these guys' background and just some interesting stories, we can start off with Ed Reagan. So Ed Reagan was actually born in McDonough, Georgia, which is not too far away from where I live, so a cool Georgia connection there. And this guy actually had a pretty extensive Georgia background with his playing career as well. He started off his professional career in the lower minor league levels with the Cordial Babies. That was actually the first team he played for, and if you can believe it or not, that was the name of their team, the Cordial Babies. So he played there a little while and then moved to the Gulf State League where he played for Monroe. And then got a shot up in the next level up in the minor leagues with the Savannah Indians and the New Orleans Pelicans. He split the 1910 season between both teams. He played with Savannah first and then moved over to New Orleans. And then fun fact about that is in the 1910 season, when he was on the New Orleans Pelicans team, he got to play with Shoeless Joe Jackson, who was also on that team during the 1910 season. And then towards the end of Ed Reagan's career, he actually did move back to Cordial and was their manager for, I think, 3 or 4 seasons. So this guy was a Georgia native, played a bunch of his professional baseball career in Georgia, and then wound up towards the end serving as the manager for Cordial. So that extensive Georgia connection is the reason why Ed Reagan landed on my list of ones to keep for my collection on these T206s. So pretty cool story about Ed Reagan. Now moving on to Ernie Howard. Ernie Howard was with the Savannah Indians organization for 5 or 6 seasons. I do know it was from 1905 to 1910. He started out his career as an outfielder for the team, and then later on in his time with Savannah, he moved into more of a managerial record. And it is pretty cool to note that in the 1910 season, he was serving just strictly as the manager for the teams, and he actually got to coach, or I'm sorry, it was the 1909 season. 1909, Shoeless Joe Jackson played for the Savannah Indians for 1 season, and Ernie Howard was the coach of the team, obviously. So pretty cool that Ernie Howard got to say that he coached Shoeless Joe Jackson before he made it into obviously the player that he became, the Hall of Famer, hopefully. So really, really cool about Ernie Howard. But he was a pretty dependable player too when he was kind of in his playing days versus the whole managerial aspect of his career. He was kind of a 250 to 260 batting average hitter year in and year out. And he was a very dependable outfielder as well. But that is a little bit more about his background. Obviously, these 2 guys landed themselves on my list of ones that I wanted to keep for my T206 collection just because of the whole Georgia connection. Obviously, Ernie Howard pictured there in the Savannah Indians uniform. I just think that's really cool. That's about 45 minutes away from where I live, so kind of right in my backyard. And then Ed Reagan there, kind of as I just went through, he has a very extensive background when it comes to being in and around Georgia. So just 2 really cool players, 2 really cool pieces of Georgia history, in my opinion. So that is my 2 players that I chose to do for this Player Stories episode, and I really hope y'all enjoyed this. I know the minor leaguers, their stories aren't too extensive, so you kind of have to dig deep when you want to find out interesting facts and stuff about them. But I really hope y'all enjoyed what info I did shed on these guys here. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace.